Oh, hi there. My name's Chip Zdarsky. I'm a comic book writer and artist. And I'm a YouTuber, diarist. I do a lot of things. Magazine publisher, lover. Anyways, I work for Marvel, DC, Image, you know, the comic companies. And today I'm here at Walt's comic shop, and I'm in their stacks to talk about 3 comics that inspired me and one that currently inspires me. So yeah, let's go. All right, first up, I had to pick the heaviest one. It's Justice League International. This is the Omnibus, Volume 1. This is a series very near and dear to my heart, and it kind of informs all my work. It's run by Keith Giffen, J.M. DeMatteis, and Kevin Maguire, and then an assortment of artists beyond Kevin. And it was during a period at DC where Justice League was not the hottest brand. And so they decided to do something different, and they hired these guys to make a new comic that was more humor-based, almost like a situational comedy featuring a lot of characters that people just didn't really know about back in those days, like Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, Guy Gardner from the Superman movie, and anchoring it Batman, because obviously you need Batman. And what I loved about this series was its heart. You know, it felt like a family book. Its humor, it made me laugh every issue, and the fact that it always would go deep and heavy and serious at points and would throw you off. So that's a lesson I picked up, where if you have something be really funny, it makes the intense parts more intense. Like a comic that's all intense, I just can't get into it. But a comic that mixes it up, I think it's more impactful. And also it introduced me to the art of Kevin Maguire, who was probably the biggest inspiration when I started drawing. His facial expressions were something so new and fresh, and I love it so much. Yeah. It's the one series that I would probably never take over because I think it was already done perfectly and I don't want to ruin it by touching it. Because I did a book called Justice League Last Ride, kind of an out-of-continuity book. I made a very conscious choice to not ape this series because, again, I couldn't come close to it. So I made it a bit more kind of serious, kind of featuring, you know, the classic Justice League characters revolving around the animated series. So yeah. If I'm doing a Justice League book, it's not going to be Blue Beetle or Booster Gold, but, you know, talk to me in 5 years when I'm desperate for work. Okay, so what's next is actually kind of very similar. So, you know, I'm kind of dumb for picking both of these. It's The Incredible Hulk by Peter David. Again, this hit me at a point in my life where I guess I was just craving kind of comedy in my books, and not only that, but kind of deeper books that kind of went farther with the characters. And so Peter David, as a writer, you know, did both of those things, and also just teamed up with some amazing artists like Gary Frank, Dale Keown, like that original run, and Todd McFarlane, some Canadian boy named Todd. Yeah, that original run really brought me into comics. Because at that point, I was like, you know, kind of high school, and I was kind of like, maybe I don't really want these stories anymore. And then this kind of hooked me and brought me back in. I love this run so much. It was also the first time that I realized how important the art is to a book, because I stopped reading it once an artist came along that I didn't like. And I was like, why don't I like this anymore? Like, I love Peter David stuff. And I'm like, oh, the art is just as important. And it's a thing you don't really think about when you're a kid. Once that kind of hits you, it's like, oh, yeah, no, they both have to be good or I'm not reading it. So yeah, Peter David left us too soon. If you buy some of these, the royalties go to his family, I'm assuming. So yeah, I highly endorse checking out his run. Let's see, some other stuff that's inspired me. Daniel Clowes, Eightball. This definitely hit at a formative experience in my early 20s. I kind of had the path that a lot of comic readers had back then. Superhero stuff, Marvel, DC. Then Vertigo came along. Next thing you know, I'm goth. We all have that phase. And then I went to college. I couldn't afford books. Kind of fell off. And when I moved to the big city, I found a comic shop that was kind of alternative focused. And they turned me on to Dan Clowes. And man, like, once again, the theme seems to be humor, because there's a lot of humor and angst in Dan Clowes' work. And it also taught me that, oh, comics don't have to just be one big story or a continuing kind of narrative over several issues. It could be a lot of things. Like some of my favorite gags, Art School Confidential in Eightball was that 2 pages long, 3 pages. A lot of great one-panel kind of gags, one-page gags. End up with stuff like Ghost World, which is in here as well, which blew my mind. It showed me how versatile a career you can have as a comic artist while still maintaining a style. There are definitely a few drawings I've done that look very much like Dan Clowes characters. So thanks, Dan, and I'm sorry. So I was asked to pick something more recent that inspires me, but I don't want to pick anyone that I know or that's in the industry right now because I don't want them to get a big ego, and I don't want to promote anyone that isn't myself. So I went with some manga. A couple years ago, myself and some friends started a podcast called Manga-splaining, where my more manga-heavy friends teach me about manga. And we're reading something different every week. And this book came along by Taiyo Matsumoto, Ping Pong. And it was at this point I truly realized you can make a comic about anything because it's about ping pong players. And the North American comic market tends to be very much elevator pitch genre based. Like, oh, so this is like science fiction meets cowboys, or this is vampires meets superheroes, which I'm also guilty of. It's zombies, but it's in the steampunk. Whereas I've noticed like there's so much manga where it felt like it was just a creator just becoming really interested in something and then making a book about it. Whether it's about food or business or the radio or ping pong. And that really inspired me as a creator. So this is basically about like friends who kind of go through life together and are in kind of ping pong tournaments. And it's about becoming the best version of yourself and what that means for the people around you and your life. And weirdly, I always equate it to Batman Year One. Like, if you're a superhero person, you love Batman Year One, you'll love this. It's got that kind of tension of starting out and building yourself up to be the best that you can be. And it's gorgeous. Every comic artist I send it to, they're just like amazed at the gesture work in here and how it really makes you kind of feel the impact of that little ping pong ball. So yeah, this inspired me to do my book Public Domain, the one that I write and draw for Image Comics, because I started to think, after reading all this manga, what do I love? What's my interest? And I had the sad realization that it is comics, and it's the comic industry. So I made a book about the comic industry featuring kind of real people, and that's all thanks to the manga that I was reading and ping pong. So yeah, that's me. Those are just a few books that inspired me and inspire me today. And thanks to Walt's Comic Shop for having me out and letting me roam your stacks.